Well, hello, Emmanuel family and friends. Pastor Eric here. It is Friday, the 13th of November. Hopefully, no crazy things happen on this Friday, the 13th. It seems like we've had enough crazy for 2020. But I just wanted to jump on today and send out a message, a video message, just um, encouraging you and just offering just a brief thought for this day, as well as setting the stage for my sermon this coming Sunday. So, as we all know, the election results are kind of still out there. Again, we have the results, but all the legal challenges and all those things still pending. And so we're kind of still in this time of waiting. It seems like it's been a lot of waiting in the year 2020, just mainly waiting for kind of day to day with this pandemic and kind of waiting for an end to it, waiting to see if there would be another spike in the fall, as there seems like that might be taking place now, and just kind of waiting for normalcy to return in some fashion. So there's been a lot of that. Waiting to see what would happen with the election. Now we're waiting to get all those votes certified and finalized. So just definitely been a season of waiting. As I've said before, patience, one of those fruits of the Spirit, I definitely need to continue to grow in. And so perhaps you're the same way. So I guess God is definitely teaching me, perhaps teaching all of us a lot about waiting on Him, trusting in Him in the midst of all this. But again, as we wait, I've just been, again, thinking more about how do we respond to one another in the midst of this season with just as we all are waiting, as there's stress and tension and everything is just high. Anxiety is high. I'm going to speak about that a little on Sunday. But just kind of wondering, how do we navigate this? And especially coming off our last sermon series, again, how do we engage with our enemies, or again, thinking of it, those with whom we disagree? And again, I keep coming back to that Romans 12:15 verse, Romans chapter 12, verse 15, where Paul says, rejoice with those who rejoice, mourn with those who mourn. Just keep thinking about that in the context of this election. And again, when there's winners and losers, a winner and a loser, when there's people who support, who are excited about who won, those who are disappointed by the one who lost, and there's all that going on. Again, think about how do we reach across the aisle and rejoice with those who are excited right now and celebrating. That's a hard thing to do when you're feeling a lot of disappointment, to extend congratulations. And I kind of feel like, and then on the flip side, if you're really celebrating, it's hard to reach across and really reach out to those who are mourning and say, I'm sorry for what you're feeling. I know you're disappointed. But I guess I just feel like that's such a tangible thing we could do in this season that I really think would stand out. For so many, they're celebrating with if you're celebrating, you're doing it with the people who are feeling the same way. If you're mourning, you're commiserating with those who are feeling the same way. And that's not just true this election season, it's true every election season. Whichever party is in power, so to speak, or their candidate wins, that happens. And so I just think what a powerful thing it could be to just reach across the aisle and reach out to those who are mourning, or to congratulate those who are celebrating. I just love that scripture, and I guess I just feel like it's really timely for this season that we're in now. So the other thing I've been thinking about is, and I'm going to talk about this on Sunday, just the need for unity in our nation, in our churches, among people, within our families, all those things. That what I'm hearing a lot about now is from, kind of this, well, so for example, when one candidate wins, saying, there's questions about fraud, there's, kind of saying, well, you're mocking and being overly excited and kind of rubbing that in our faces. And it's the same, 4 years earlier. It's the other side doing it, and questions of fraud and all these things. It's natural in these kinds of election cycles, to one extent, that that there's going to be questions, there's going to be challenges, and there's going to be disappointment and excitement, rejoicing and mourning. And I've just been thinking about what I keep hearing is kind of almost this, well, yeah, you did this to us 4 years ago. Now we're going to do it to you type mentality on either side. And I've just been thinking, that's that cycle. If we stay in that cycle, it'll never end, right? And I've been thinking about Jesus' words in the message Pastor Dave preached about when Jesus talks about, you have heard it said, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. I tell you, love your enemy, pray for those who persecute you. And really and I talked about this in one of those other weeks I preached on about that, when it talks about kind of evildoers and stuff, not to seek retribution. It's not, or not to stand against them. It's not so much in that context of Paul talking about don't stand up against evil. There are times we need to, but it's about if you're just seeking revenge, you'll never break that cycle. And that's what Paul was getting at. That's what Jesus was getting at, was we need to break that cycle of revenge, of retribution, and instead usher in something very new, something very different, forgiveness and showing grace to one another and kindness and love and all those kinds of things. And I guess I just want to challenge us with that today, that to be ones who lead the charge in that. It's easy to say, well, wherever you are on the spectrum, right, to say, well, last time you did it to me. If you're thinking of someone with whom you disagree, who's on the opposite side, yeah, well, you were gloating last time, now I get to gloat, right? Or vice versa. And what if instead you said, if they're mourning, I'm going to mourn with you. If they're rejoicing, I'm going to rejoice with you. I just think such a powerful tool to really stand out, to be different, to be countercultural in a major way, and to really work towards unity, to breaking that cycle and to ushering in just a new relationship. And because that's the thing, you can still get along with people with whom you disagree. You don't have to agree on everything, right? I have family members with whom I disagree. I still love them. They still love me. So maybe there's some things where you say, okay, we're just not going to talk about that. For the sake of our relationship, we're just not going to go there. Okay, if the conversation starts to go there, we're mutually both going to say, stop, time out, throw the flag, we're done, we're moving on. Sometimes that's needed in relationships, and I think that's okay. To be a close relationship doesn't mean you have to talk about everything, especially if you know there's something that you're really divided on. Allow that to be something that, you're just not going to go there for the sake of your friendship, of your relationship. So, but I just think we need that in our country. We need to say, let's focus on the things we are united about, living in this great country, being Americans, and proud of that and grateful for that. Unite around that, for sure. That's the thing we want to get united around. Typically after elections, that's what there's unity around. There's disappointment, there's excitement on either side, but then ultimately everyone says, all right, now it's time to move forward. It's time to put this behind us and seek unity, whether it's my candidate or not in the office. I'm going to support him. And like I say, neither side does that well. But I think that's what we need to do. But I think even more so, less so about our country, more so about the church. What we're united around is Jesus Christ. We can disagree about all kinds of things. That's like in denominations. We disagree about plenty of things. Where we're united about is around Jesus Christ. You keep the first things first. So I just want to encouraging myself to do that, to be people who break that cycle of retribution and getting even and all that stuff, and just say, it's not worth it. I'm going to seek unity. I'm going to seek reconciliation and relationship with one another. And again, something I'm going to talk about this Sunday, when we think about that, rejoice with those who rejoice, mourn with those who mourn, you can think about that, about things like elections and all that. But there's a really specific thing that Paul's getting at, which I'm going to focus on this Sunday as well. And Pastor Dave did last Sunday, rejoice always, in that First Thessalonians text. I'm going to talk about it in Philippians 4 this week. It's kind of been this constant thread. You don't just rejoice like in general, we rejoice in the Lord, okay? That's where we find our joy. And you can do that whether your candidate wins or loses. You can do that whether we're in the middle of a global pandemic or the sweetest season imaginable. You can rejoice in the if it's in the Lord because of what He's already done for us through Christ on the cross, and through His resurrection, that He has given us new life and given us the promise of eternal life through Him. So that's worth rejoicing over, and we can do that no matter what. Nothing can steal our joy if that's what we're focused on. So just want to leave you with this last thing. I'm going to preach on this verse Sunday. Just want to get this song in your head to just be keep this refrain going. Old song goes like this: Rejoice in the Lord always. Again I say rejoice. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again I say rejoice. Rejoice, rejoice. Again I say rejoice. Rejoice, rejoice. Again I say rejoice. That's one of our verses for this Sunday, Philippians 4, chapter 4, verse 4. Put to song. I remember that from growing up. I hadn't thought about it in a long time until I was working on this sermon. Perhaps it's a song familiar to you, but let that refrain just run in your heads this next couple days. And I think it's just a great reminder for us of the need to keep the first things first, keep Jesus first, and let your joy be in Him, rooted in Him, and rejoice in Him no matter what else is going on, no matter what's raging around you. Keep your eyes fixed on Him, and you can rejoice in the midst of anything. So God bless you, friends. See you on Sunday, either in person or virtually, and hope you have a great weekend. God bless you.